was led by a guy, Chad Wright, pretty intense dude, former Navy SEAL. So you can imagine.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's pretty hardcore.
Pretty brutal.
And it was 7 other people. So it was me and 7 others, so 8 total. And then we had Chad and 3 other instructors with us.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an experience.
There you go. How many miles you guys do?
Probably around 20.
Oh my goodness.
Because
up in the mountains and everything?
Yeah, we started at 4,000 and ended at 11,500. So it was quite a bit of elevation too. But so it was, it was probably 20 miles, but we did some bonus miles because we get into camp and we set up camp and everything like that. It was a long day. Everybody was gassed. And
I bet. Did you guys do it in one day?
No, we spent 2 nights up there, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But that was part of it, was you were packing everything in.
Right.
Which added the weight. Because if you were to just do it in a day trip, all you would need to stock up on while you're up there is water, but you'd have a much lighter pack and it'd be a lot easier. But we get to camp and it's like, 6 p.m., so it's kind of getting late. And we have to go scout for water, but we spent probably an hour looking around for water around our campsite. No water.
Nothing.
So we had to go to a spring that was about an hour back down the mountain with all the empty water bottles and then 30 liters of these dromedary bags and fill them all up at this spring and then hike back up with all the water.
Oh no.
So we got back at probably 9:30 and then had dinner probably 10 and wrapped up around midnight. It was
dang.
Yeah, it was.
That's an adventure right there.
And then the next day we had to do the same thing.
Yeah, we did nothing like that. So we both did 75 hard last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was great. It was amazing. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
But we did like a 20-mile ruck. So we bought like weighted vests on, Amazon or whatever. They were like, I don't know, like $60, $80 or something like that. I was like, what was it? Like 30 pounds probably.
Yeah.
And then we just like walked by a canal up where we both kind of are located, where we live in New York. But so that was like, we did 20 miles in like 6 hours?
20 miles is a while.
Yeah, it is.
That's with that much weight. Yeah. That's workout.
Yeah. So we're both like roasted at the end.
Yeah.
We're like, we get down, we get halfway out, we turn around. We thought we got halfway out. And then when we got back to the truck, we needed like a half a mile more. So we're just like walking around like city blocks to get our like last half mile.
I've done that a few times. I'll go on runs all the time and I'll mess up the distance. So I'll need like 0.7 miles when I'm home.
Yeah.
So I'm just like wiggling around everywhere to get that
just
last
like looking
little
at your watch and you're like, well, no, I got like 0.2 miles left to go. I think we can go down there and then come back around. Then you get around and it's like, oh, I still need to do a little more. So you keep going around. So
I've been there too many times.
Yeah.
The next iteration of my running is trying to make shapes by running on Strava.
Yeah.
And because I'm a 6-year-old, I really want to draw out a penis with a run wrap, like a huge one across the city, but do it by running. So like 10 miles. And then it just turns into a beautiful drawing at the
end. You really got to do some research and like plan out like where's the tip start? Where does it go down?
Yeah, dude, you have to sit down and really map it out and find like the perfect area to do it in. I want to do it right. So that's next on my agenda.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Priorities.
Yeah. You have to set challenging physical goals, and that's one of them.
There you go. Got to make it interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll end up in the podcast or not.
No,
I hope not.
That's the introduction to the whole thing.
So you are in from New York.
Yes.
Where in New York are you?
We are in central New York, so Syracuse.
Okay. I've never been up that way.
It's pretty nice. Definitely, I mean, we're way far away from the city, so I think we're like 4 hours north of the city. But
New York's a big place.
It's very big.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll take you 5 hours to drive across the state.
I always forget about it. Because every time I'm going along the East Coast, you always go at the very bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Then you just forget about. It's like Maine is more of a cul-de-sac, but you have to be going to New York to go to New York, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or you're going to Canada.
Yeah, or you're going straight to Canada.
Which I've never been up to that part of Canada either.
It's if you go north of Syracuse up towards Watertown.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like, dude, they're just a different type of people up there. I mean, it is cold.
But in the States.
It's still in the States.
Yeah.
So you can actually get to Canada up by Messina, and you can just drive right across the road, right into Canada, right down the road, right into Canada. And it's like, there's, people think of like New York and it's like all city. You go to the North Country and there's just more land than you can ever imagine. It's very big. It's a very big state. So like if you go to Buffalo from Buffalo to Albany, like that stretch of the whole state, I mean, it'll take you 5 hours to get across state.
Really?
Yeah. It's huge. Probably like 4.5, 5 hours.
It's pretty miserable up there in the winter too.
It's brutal.
Yeah. What do you guys do in the winter? Do you plow snow or anything like that?
So we used to do snow removal for wind turbine projects locally. So like we've done a bunch of wind up there. We've done I think like 2 projects up there. I think one of them was 8 or 9, and the other one was like 25, I think.
Wow.
So that was back before I was really involved. So that was like probably like 2000, 2000s.
So you do snow removal for the project?
So we used to. So that was like an add-on to the contract. So like we did the wind projects, built all the roads, did the foundations, backfilled them, all that. And then it was like an add-on to the contract. It's like, hey, like, do you want to do the plowing, the snow removal? So we're like, yeah, we did that. So we did that for, I don't know, 10 years probably. And then once that contract kind of ran out, they just kind of found someone else. And because New York is so brutal in the winter, our work season is only like 8 or 9 months, like if you're lucky.
Yeah, so you're like April to Thanksgiving, roughly?
Basically. Yeah. You can start in March. That's still pretty early. The frost is still in the ground pretty good.
Sure.
So, I mean, yeah, basically from Thanksgiving. My father always said, if I can keep the guys busy through Thanksgiving, then that's a pretty good year. But I would say now it's, that mentality is kind of a little dated.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're so heavily involved in the solar industry up there and doing like big commercial solar projects all over New York that these contractors, the GCs just don't care. It's all about numbers, getting these projects in, getting the tax credits.
Yeah.
So they don't really care. Can't really say they care what it costs, but like the cost goes up a lot in the winter because you're dealing with frost and like you dump, dump truck comes in, dump an aggregate out, and it's like half of it's stuck in the box.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that takes 5 minutes to go over there, dig it out. So
I have noticed that like the renewable projects, the data centers, the big box distribution centers, they just don't care on schedule anymore. And more contractors are working through the winter.
Yes.
Even though it's wildly impractical.
Yes.
And not very cost effective. Yeah, the schedules are just like, we don't care. We'll just pay for it.
Yes.
Whatever it costs, just get the damn building up or get the damn solar field in or whatever it is. It's you wonder how sustainable it is.
I don't know. To me being in it, so we got into commercial solar back in 2014. I graduated high school in 2013. So it was like a year after.
I think I graduated high school in 2013 too.
There you go.
Yeah. Imagine that.
There you go.
So so you're saying solar.
So we got into solar around 2014, and that like really opened up our eyes to, hey, New York is just starting solar. So we were like very early to the game. So we did 1 project a year, 2 projects, 3. Now we're doing we're probably involved in 8 or 9 projects a year.
Really?
Doing commercial solar.
It is interesting how much solar there is in the Northeast right now. Because when you think solar, you'd think Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada.
Yeah.
But the Northeast is blown up.
It is massive. Yeah, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, Virginia.
So when we first got into solar, it was always, Massachusetts.
Really?
They're it's huge over there. It's huge, but it's coming to New York. So just basically get ready because it's going to blow up in New York. And it did. I mean, we're doing 28 megawatt projects. I mean, that are 180 acres big, 200 acres. I mean, these things are pretty good size. And then, but you also get like the smaller ones that are like, I don't know, they're probably only like 20 acres, probably.
What goes into building a solar farm? I feel like people don't really understand.
So we get the bid, and what we do is we basically we do the land clearing. So we're teamed up with a local contractor where we are, and he gives us pricing for the land clearing. He goes in there and does all that.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys they can cut down a lot of acres.
What do they use typically?
They're there a lot earlier than me.
Yeah.
So they have like rotobacks, they have skidders, and a lot of what they do is they have like big track chippers. I mean, so these guys are just feeding trees in this thing like 10-hour days, 12-hour days. And they have big box van, like live bottom trailers that they'll bring in, and they'll just sit that truck in the landing area, and they'll bring all the trees right down, and they'll just keep feeding trees. And they end up taking all that. They chip it right into the back of the truck. That goes to like a mulching company. So they'll like dye the mulch. So it's getting reused. Everything's getting reused.
But for mulch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so we go in and we build the roads, the big laydown area yards. And then after that's all done, and we regrade the site based on if it's a tracker system. So trackers are, you'd think of like solar as going like, you're tracking the sun from east to west and around like a tilt axis. Yeah. But all the rows are going north and south. So in the morning they're facing east, and then obviously as the sun goes down, they tilt east to west on top of a I-beam post. So, and there's a couple different styles, but basically what we do is we build the roads, we do the land clearing, we'll basically prep the site, do all the grading, stabilization, and then we'll go in there and do underground electric. So
you'll do the power too?
We just do the trenching.
Okay.
So we trench, sand, backfill, regrade the top, and then once you get all they call them DC feeders. So it's like so it goes from the panel to like an inverter or a combiner, and then it'll go down underground up to a transformer, and then kind of back out to the grid.
It's solar. I've been to quite a few solar projects. There's a lot of earth moving involved in these. There's a lot of land clearing involved.
There's a lot of land clearing.
There's funny misconception. They think, I feel like, I've said this about wind turbines, but I feel like people think you just plant a bunch of solar panel seeds in this open field, and these solar panels just pop up, and then the birds are chirping, and there's rabbits running around, and flowers and butterflies, and it's like,
the butterfly grass seed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe that.
Butterfly grass seed?
Oh yeah.
What is that?
It's a butterfly mix. It's literally grass that grows and it attracts butterflies.
And that's
for all these tree huggers out there. Like
that's in the spec?
Yes.
Wow.
It's so.
I'm all for renewable solar. Okay, fantastic. But I like the irony of how much infrastructure it takes to go build a solar farm.
I saw a poster, like an Instagram story a couple months ago from you, and it was like, people think of solar power as so green. It is to a certain extent, but then you're cutting down like 100 acres of trees.
Yeah, you're out there on the solar project watching D8s just ram over trees, with big root rakes and just ripping everything out. You're like
burning all this diesel fuel. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And green energy right here.
Yeah, we're going green, everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, throwing everything into a big tub grinder. And it's just the irony of it. It's great. Cracks me up.
It's great.
So are the solar projects mostly low bid, or is that relationship based now since you've done so many of them?
So it is not low bid. So we've definitely maintained a lot of great relationships over the years are super important to us. My dad he's a big, people person, same, it runs in the family.
Yeah.
And, we can talk to just about anyone. So we can, we'll take these guys out to dinner and stuff like that. Just being a good contractor has heavily to do with just being a good person, being upfront and honest, and producing quality work and getting it done ahead of schedule.
Yeah, it's not that hard, but it is hard. Same time.
It has its challenges, especially if you don't have enough guys and you're so spread thin. You know, I say like, hey, you know, we're working in teams of 2 for the next 4 weeks, guys. Like, it's going to suck. I'm sorry. I can't, like, there's not enough employees to just staff a huge job, and I can get like 6 guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to keep pecking away at this job and just keep building it, and I'll get you help as soon as I can. But I think a lot of that has to do with we've invested in GPS quite heavily.
Yeah.
So we have a surveyor that goes out and he does all of our grades, and basically like he takes a CAD file and puts it in our dozers and excavators for us. So we actually started out with one D5K LGP dozer, and we were so nervous to buy our first GPS dozer because it wasn't the upfront cost. It was, what can we get in return? And that was like a huge gamble on our end because we didn't know the production that this thing could give back to us. So we got our first D5K dozer, and about 4 years later, I asked young guys. I mean, all of the guys that are on our travel crew, besides 2 guys, are under the age of like 28.
Really?
Yeah.
But
and I asked them, I'm like, hey, I think we're at a turning point. Like, we're doing all these projects now. We only have one dozer. What would you guys like to see? I want your feedback. I want your input on like, what equipment would you guys like to be on your project? And all of them were like, an excavator, the GPS.
You see that? But that's crazy talk. Asking the people that do the work what they would like to see from an equipment standpoint, that's insane.
But no one knows it better.
You're supposed to just buy whatever you can at auction and say, this is what you get, and stop bitching about it.
Yeah, those are all narrow-minded people. Extremely.
So you asked them what they wanted. They wanted an excavator. Did you get them an excavator with GPS?
I got them a Cat 323 next gen excavator.
That's a nice machine.
With a tilt bucket on it. It was our first tilt bucket.
Tilt bucket.
It was sweet.
But not
it was high end. It was
not a tilt rotator, just tilt bucket.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. So that came actually this spring.
Oh, you guys have one?
We do.
Is it Encon?
It is.
Nice.
We're actually going to be an Encon dealer.
Really?
So we don't just do site excavation. So we started, my grandfather went to a farmer. He was helping him, do some land clearing and stuff like that, just on the side. And the farmer said, hey, Don, if you ever want to start your own business, come to me. I'll back you. So my grandfather was working heavy highway at the time, and he wanted something more. He always wanted something, take care of his family, be there all the time for his family. He wanted to go on vacations like once or twice a year with the family. So he could be home, but he could be working for himself. So he'd have more of a self-pride than just getting on a dozer every single day and being a no one on, I-90, building that. So he went to the farmer and said, probably 2 years later, he goes, hey, does that offer still stand? And the farmer was like, absolutely, 100%. So that farmer gave my grandfather enough money to buy his first dozer. And then my father was in high school still. And when he got out of high school, he went to work for my dad, or for my grandfather. So my grandfather and father are working together now. So my dad ends up going to college for a couple of years. But every single weekend that my father could come back from Scranton, Pennsylvania to central New York, he was making that like 2.5-hour drive, 2-hour drive up. And they were both running a couple D6s, doing land clearing, doing irrigation swales, because central New York is pretty hilly. So the farmland is on hills. So we got to stop the water from coming down. So these guys are digging swales across the hills to ponds, and they're pushing back hedgerows. And these guys are getting like, back in the day, everyone was a farmer.
Yeah.
Everyone needed more land. That's why like the solar right now, they're taking over all those all those fields that are grown up for the last 20 years and they got, 20, 30 foot tall trees on there. And they're just, I mean, it's good use of the land for sure.
Yeah.
So but like that part of the story, back when they first started that's leading to like now, what they did back then is benefiting the industry right now and all this renewable energy stuff. So they, back in the day, they bought their second dozer, they were digging ponds, and then they started a gravel product to doing aggregate. So I think we had about 4 gravel pits open in New York, and these guys were doing all the sand. They were shipping all that stuff to the towns, just kind of feeding the market any way that they could. So my grandfather's mentality is, and it still stands today, even with me being third generation, is like, well, we can do that. We can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's no problem. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, we may not know anything about solar or wind or big industrial buildings, but we can figure out the process. So it's just always being eager to learn something new that has advanced us. I feel like it's been great.
Was joining the business always in the cards for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew that when I was in high school.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have 2 brothers.
Where are you in the order?
I am the youngest.
Youngest. Are they involved in the business too?
So my oldest brother was involved a little bit. So we have equipment rental stores. So that's how we're able to become an Encon dealer, because we have like resale. We do equipment rentals. So like minis, mini excavators, skid steers, haul trucks, big excavators, 320s, stuff like that. We rent out that stuff. And he was involved with that. He did that for about, I don't know, probably like 5 years, I think. And then he just needed something more. So he actually went out on his own and started his own 3-guy crew. He's been killing it up north.
Really? So his own excavation contract?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like super proud of him with that. So he's been doing real good. I think he started that probably like 3 years ago. So he basically took all the knowledge that he learned like with my dad, and you can't, like, customers just can't find local, good, honest, hardworking, small contractors that'll do a $2,000 job. Just no one, like the big guys, they don't want to deal with that. It's too big. It might be too big for a landscaper. Some of them are, they can do it, but he really has a lot of knowledge. So he's doing his own business. So that's doing really good for him. And then the middle brother, Troy, we actually just opened another rental store down in Charlotte. So it's actually Granite Quarry, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he went to school down in Virginia, and he just like fell in love with the South. So when he was done with college, he moved back up to New York. He wanted something more. So he ended up going down to Charlotte and started his own, him and his wife and kid went down there, and they started their own rental business. And
so the rental business is separate from the excavation business?
Yes.
And you're within the excavation business?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I liked rentals. I mean, I always love equipment. So like anything to do with equipment, It's awesome. But when I graduated high school, during graduation, before graduation, they said, "Oh, Brent, like, what are you going to do? Like, what do you want us to tell the audience, like, what you're going to go do?" And I said, heavy equipment management.
Check.
Done.
Did anybody understand what that was?
I mean, up in the country up there, probably yes.
Yeah.
Because everyone runs an excavator. Everyone can run a dozer. So yeah, soon I actually had like an argument with my principal in high school. And I was like, you guys are holding me back. I shouldn't even be here. I don't even want to be here. So I went to BOCES for civil construction.
What's that?
So it was just like a training to like help kids get on to, it's another school. So BOCES is another school that you can go to in high school that basically gets you your math, your science, your English, whatever. And then it gives you the opportunity to like get on a piece of equipment and see if you like it. So it's
really?
like it's almost like training.
Oh, wow. So they have equipment that they put kids on.
Yeah. Yeah, so these like 16-year-old, 17-year-old kids are like out here like running a D5 or like a D6.
It's pretty sweet.
Like running loaders and backhoes and a little like excavator and stuff like that. So it's great.
That's a hell of a way to do workforce development. You put a kid in the seat of a loader. Yeah, this is pretty damn cool. I can do this as a job. Tell me more.
Yeah.
But most people don't have that opportunity to even get in a machine.
Correct. No, they don't. And like it's free. It's
so
all
you didn't go to college.
I did not go to college. So day one, I graduated high school. I went into the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Day one.
Mm.
Been loving it.
So you've been in the family business since you were a little kid.
Yeah. Grown into it.
What's it like growing up in a family business?
I
feel like there's this, I've talked about it. There's this just super funny misconception that I feel like you're handed everything. But every time I've seen it, it's not the case at all. Like, not even slightly.
No,
you're the one under the microscope.
You have the stereotype, typical, boss's son.
Yeah.
You can beat that. Anyone that's a boss's son, you can outperform anyone else on the crew.
Uh-huh.
It's taken me a long time to earn the respect from like the older guys, because they're always like, oh, this kid's coming out of high school. Like, there's no way he's going to tell me what to do. And I'm like, I've never been to one that says, hey, guy that has 30 years of experience that's worked for us for 30 years. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to keep asking you questions. I'm going to learn. I want to work right beside you and learn from the best. So, it was pretty difficult. What's the biggest? I would say just earning the respect from the guys. That took a long time.
Mm-hmm. And how do you do that? Like you said, just working alongside them, asking questions.
Yeah.
Proving yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and being to the job, not late.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be late.
Mm-mm.
Don't be late, and just always be looking at the plans and coming up with ideas. And, a lot of those ideas when I was in high school, in high school and just out of high school, it's like a lot of those were dumb. They were like bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I would get told that from the guys like all the time, So
I didn't grow up in a family business, which I'm fortunate. I'm glad I didn't, because it allowed me to go on the path I'm in. My dad, he grew up in a family business. My grandpa was a jeweler in Lincoln, Nebraska. So if you go down to downtown Lincoln, Nebraska, there's Fred Witt Jewelers.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad wanted nothing to do with it. So he gave the jewelry store to the guy that worked under my dad. Just gave him the store. Like, I don't want anything to do with it.
He doesn't even want it.
Yeah. And got out of the family business before it started. So that that eliminated the family business path for me. But I feel like you're at a disadvantage. You're at an advantage because you get crazy amounts of experience. Like,
yes.
I think a lot of people, they make the mistake of thinking that at 18 you have this same amount of experience that I had at 18. But if you've been growing up in a family business your whole life, you have 18 years of experience at that point.
It's second nature.
Yeah.
Half the stuff, running an excavator or a dozer is just second nature.
Yeah.
Running a backhoe is like, I could get on this stuff in my sleep.
Well,
by the time I just graduated high school.
Yes. So that's the advantage part of it. You have way more experience. But then the other side of it is, you are at a disadvantage because people think you're handed everything. You're the boss's son.
Yeah, you're at an advantage, but you also have to prove yourself 10 times over.
Yes.
You can't just prove yourself once.
Exactly.
You got to do it like 100 times.
Yeah. So if I just show up and go to work and prove myself, oh, okay, he's fine. But
right.
I'm not the boss's son.
That might take you a week.
Yes.
That might take you a week.
But you, since you have the last name, it takes you way more time to get that same amount of respect, even though you have more experience than most people. It's this weird, I don't know how to explain it, but I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
But then once you have the respect, you have it.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Yeah. So like I was working on a job with one of our most experienced guys. His name is Gary. And for the first time, this meant like the world to me. We were doing some retention ponds a couple weeks ago for my buddy Luke, that he does erosion control, sediment control. It's down in Binghamton.
Mm-hmm.
And so he hires us to do all of his grading work. He's building a new building now. So we were down there putting in some ponds and a building pad. And I go up to this guy, Gary, and I'm like, hey, Gary, like, what do you think we should do now? And he looked me right in the eye and he was like, do anything you want me to do. I was like, Oh man.
I've made
Wow.
it.
I'm finally there. I'm 28 years old.
I've
and
made
like,
it.
I've been doing this my whole life. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm finally there.
Yeah.
I finally have his respect.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it kind of developing that respect for sure. We've been working with each other all summer. And I think that's really opened his eyes to like what I actually know and like what I can actually handle being at such a young age. So that really meant like the world to me, coming from a guy that, I mean, he's been working for us for like 35 years.
Yeah, it's big time. I mean, yeah, but once you're there, as long as you don't do something dumb to lose it, you've got it. And then
Right.
you can start, like you were talking about the GPS kind of stuff, then you can start shaping the business a little bit more.
Yeah. So I know like back in like 2013, we did like $750,000 in revenue in like 1 year for excavation. We had like 5-6 guys. So it was a decent amount, but the GPS and how that's helped us develop. So now we have 2 dozers and 2 excavators with GPS. And that's really helped us transform to what we can do now. So a lot of it was, my mentality was get it in, get it done, go as fast as you can. We have this GPS set up now. We're like really cranking out the work. So now it's this year, it's back to the true fundamentals and paying attention to small details. I mean, like I just made a mistake on a job. It was like $4,000 mistake.
What was the mistake?
It was just a simple mistake. I didn't give the guys a set of plans, and they started the job and they started the road fabric like 1,200 feet off. So I had to order more road fabric so we get done. We're not done building the road for the solar farm, and that product runs out. And he's like, hey, like my foreman's like, hey, where's the rest? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We ordered everything that we were supposed to get. There's like 2 different types of materials in there. So it was like, that was a mistake on my part, you know, that I told the guy, I'm like, well, I screwed up. Now I got to make a phone call. I got to buy the material. I got to get it there. So that took, 4 days, and he's like 3 hours away, 3.5, 4 hours away from the job. Cause we're doing work in Watertown. We're doing work in Rochester and Buffalo. We've done projects in like Niagara Falls, basically, and then Albany, and then way down by the city. I can't say way down by the city, but we're around like Middletown area. It's probably like an hour from the city.
Sure.
So we cover a lot of that in New York. So, the GPS has definitely helped us, get to where we are today, to what we're doing annually right now.
How many people do you have right now?
Through like the rental stores and people in the office, and doing some small aggregate. We're not in that as much anymore. And the construction side, we're about like 28, 29 people.
But including the rental stores?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you guys are spread out like all over the damn place.
Yeah.
So if you have 28 people working all over the state, it's only a few guys.
Yeah.
At each job, like you were saying.
Teams of 2.
That's wild.
Teams of 2.
Teams of 2.
That's when workforce is thin, and it doesn't, solar doesn't take, it can take a lot of manpower, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you're set up and you have the right equipment, you don't have to get out and paint the edges of your road in with spray paint or like pull string lines and tape measures. If you have the equipment that, I asked the guys, hey, what machine do you guys want? And they're like, excavators. It's like, I'll give you the tool. You just have to ask for it.
Do you guys rent yourselves equipment?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see how that would be pretty helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
You said most of your guys are young.
Yes.
How does that work out? Because I could have sworn, according to everybody, young people don't work. I have that on good authority.
We have some of the best young guys. I take a lot of pride in our young guys. I mean, these guys are 18, 19, just out of high school. A lot of these guys didn't go to college.
Where'd you find them?
Local.
Really?
Just farms. In the farms.
Yeah. So they know how to work.
They know how to work. It's kind of a dying breed. Farming is.
But how do you find them? Is it just because you guys' name has been out there for so long, people know of you, or how does that work?
Yeah. So we've been in business since like 1973. So next year's going to be our 50th year.
Yeah.
So
that's no joke.
And a while ago, I told my dad, I was like, hey, like, who's going to help me? Who are going to be my guys when the other guys that have been here for 30 years, they want to retire, and that, those years are coming up like real soon. And I'm like, who are going to be my guys? I've always been nervous about that. And he's like, it's like, Brent, you'll you'll find your guys. They will come.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be patient. Like they'll come, you'll develop your team, and hopefully they can just stick with you through anything. And I mean, I have, these young guys that are 18 to 26 years old. I mean, they're out doing these big solar projects all by themselves. I have a couple of cousins that work for me. One of them, he's an absolute stud, and he grew up doing the same thing I did. So his grandfather did the same thing that like my dad did, and my grandfather did, with just a small, dozer, dump truck, backhoe and an excavator. And then my uncle went to work for him, and then now my cousin, like he's working with us now. Like his dad's getting a little older, so he came to work with us. He was doing carpentry before, just out of BOCES, out of this workforce development program, basically this blue collar school that you could go to in high school. So he came, and I mean, I would trust this kid with just about anything to do with solar. I mean,
so your workforce is split between young kids and then guys that have been around for 30 years.
Yeah, there's like no one in between.
There's no one in between.
It's kind of odd.
What's the difference between the two groups?
Dude, I don't know. Everyone works hard. Everyone works hard. Yes, it's a different day and age for sure.
So is there no difference?
There definitely is. I'm comparing one of our best guys to one of our other best young guys. Honestly, I don't really think that there's too much. To me, what I see, I can look at a different contractor and say, oh my goodness, like I would never hire these guys that are the young kids. But our guys, we have a high standard of what we do, and we're always pushing. Our foot is never off the gas, because I mean, the more you can do, the more revenue you can do, and the more projects. So GPS helps us to move quickly on these projects. I mean, yeah, the cell phones gets pretty annoying.
Throws on their phones.
Man, yeah, there's a couple of them that are just like, dude, get off your phone.
I think.
They see me on my phone,
and
they're like,
"Oh, it's okay.
This guy's on Instagram."
Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah,
it's no.
I feel like people see me on my phone. They're like, "You're always on your phone." I'm like, well, yeah. Look around you.
That's my business.
Yeah. This wouldn't exist without it. So
I'm not scrolling on Instagram and like taking Snapchats.
And I'm not an asshole about it, but it's like I think in the back of my head, I'm like, do you like getting a paycheck? Like, is that cool? Like, is your employment cool here? Because it wouldn't exist without this stupid phone.
Yeah.
And I know, do I look at dumb videos every once in a while? Like a guy on top of a skid steer the other day, weighing it down so they could pick up something heavy? Yeah, of course I do. But I also play the game that is social media, LinkedIn, growing a business online. It's worked out okay.
Right.
But I have that thought all the time. People would probably think I just dick around on my phone all day. Like, well, yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here sitting in the seat right now if you were on Instagram just looking at dumbass videos.
How do you keep younger guys motivated?
Dude, a lot of our guys are just self-motivated. Honestly, I don't really do too much.
So we have to worry about them?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. So I think that we give young people a big opportunity to become whatever operator they want to be. They want to be just a laborer or a driver. I sit down with my guys all the time and I say, hey, like, what do you guys want to do? What position can I put you guys in to, be the best that you can be? And, one guy last winter was like, I want to be a better dozer operator. I'm like, okay, so Tyler, next time you're on a job with another guy, just be like, hey, can I run the dozer? You need to put yourself in that position. So a lot of times like that motivates them to say, I want to be a better excavator operator. Okay, well here, today you can run that. We're doing something kind of not important over here. Why don't you jump in that piece of equipment and you can go do that.
So you guys, I take it you're non-union.
We are non-union.
Yeah. I think just asking people what the hell they want to do goes a long ways.
It does.
But everybody just assumes no, you're on this path or, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I had to work 5 years to get where you want to be. It just doesn't do anybody any good, but asking them, where do you want to go? A lot of people have never even been asked that. A lot of people have never been asked, where do you want to go?
It's amazing the response that you get when the employer asks the employee, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself being? And they're like, I want to be a better dozer operator.
Yeah.
Okay. Here it is.
And
Here's the opportunity.
Well, yeah.
Just don't mess it up.
And everybody, all these employers, they just think it's a dollars game. Like, people just want more money. So let's just keep throwing more money at them, throw more money at them. But it's like, well, yeah, I mean, money doesn't hurt. And so if you're paying, $10 less than the next guy, yeah, you're probably going to get your people taken. But I mean, if you're just asking, like, how do you care for your people? Well, that's a pretty easy step, is just ask them, so where do you want to go? Like, what kind of career do you want here?
It's such a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. And it should be asked a lot more.
It should be asked a lot more. And it says to that person, wow, they actually care about me. They care about me enough to wonder where the heck I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you actually give them a shot to go in that direction. And that speaks volumes. Whoa. So they didn't just care about me. They're actually giving me a shot to go grow myself.
Yes.
Change and acquire new skills. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We could definitely do that better as a business. We have been good at letting people move around quite a bit. And it's a balance too, because you only need so many dozer operators.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
There's other positions you need filled. You have excavators, you have labor, laboring jobs, trucks, being hauled, whatever it is, cleaning equipment for a rental company. But at the same time, there is a level of flexibility that you can offer.
Yes. Yeah. You can figure it out. An employer can just figure out how to just move your guys into a little bit different role. And we just had some employee changes. And, one of our rental store managers, he just left, and we promoted one of our other managers from, that was like 45 minutes away in another store. Hey, why don't you overlook the 2 stores? And it's like, you only have to figure out employee issues when the time comes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when the situation happens, you figure that out. You can figure that out before that happens.
Yeah.
If you can figure it out after, you can figure it out before.
Well, it's just, so I went backpacking in Utah, and the biggest difference, I wrote about this, the biggest difference between, I went on this first mission, and then this was a second mission. First mission ended really badly, and I was at the first mission for me to go acquire more skills to then serve my business better. So at deep down, it wasn't really selfish. I'm trying to be a better leader so I can serve the people within my business. But it was selfish within that context of, I am here for me, not the team I'm surrounded by right now.
Mm-hmm.
So doomed from the beginning. Whereas this time around, it was, I am here for the team and nothing more than that. Dramatically different experience. So I feel like as an employer, if you just wholeheartedly serve your people and put them in the best position possible, for them, they'll in turn serve the business.
Yes.
But it's this entitlement of, no, my people, I give them a paycheck. So that buys me the right for them to serve me however I need them to serve me. And if they don't like that, they can go work elsewhere. It's like, well, okay, that might have worked in the 90s, but here we are in 2022. It doesn't work that way anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Because Amazon's right down the road saying, yeah, we'll pay you whatever you want. Come on down.
Yeah, but that opportunity that, like, I can give them, that just didn't develop over like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated high school. Actually, before I was in elementary school, and I told my mom and dad, I was like obsessed with the military when I was a kid, like watching Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's like, it's a crazy movie. So I was
Good
like,
one.
I always wanted to go into the military.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in elementary school, I think I was 11 years old. I told my mom, I was like, I want to go to a military camp for 2 weeks. So they paid my way to go to military camp for 2 weeks. It was like, I don't know, like $1,800, $2,000, which was a decent amount of money.
Yeah, that's an expensive military camp.
It was the best thing I ever did.
Why?
I learned leadership skills. I got away from being like coddled. And like, so I was out there, I was just another person for 2 weeks. I mean, being 11 years old, and I'm in a barracks with like 80 more guys that are like the same age as me, a little older. And I was just so beat down there. But like when I left there, I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I'm going to go back again. So I went back a second year, did military police. That was my job there. You know,
Nice.
as a 12-year-old, I'm a military policeman.
Yeah.
So that was.
Did you get a baton?
I don't think so.
Bummer.
I think they just told us to go like find a stick in the woods or something.
Yeah,
you know,
that
whatever.
works, yeah.
So I don't know. But and then my third year, I was a leader training the first year recruits. So I learned how teams got built and the leadership skills and like what not to do. So one of the things that I learned at leadership my third year was you can't become like friends with the recruits. You can't cater to them. You can't like make jokes with them. And I definitely glad I learned that, because there is a balance running a business between I'm here to help you. I'm here to help the team. But I'll go golfing with some of our guys on the weekends, but we've definitely established the employee and friendship roles between me and my guys.
Yeah, it's a dichotomy. Like I feel like people in the construction industry are way too far on one side. They're just kind of assholes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need a lot more care in the construction industry for just human beings. And I think that's, hey, tell me, this is Suicide Awareness Month. We're number one for suicides by any industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, people, there's no level of care. And these people are in a lot of these very abusive relationships with whoever they work for, the people they work for.
Right.
And I think we need a lot more care, but then, yeah, you can go too far.
Mm-hmm.
The going soft side.
Yeah.
And then you can't hold people accountable.
Yeah. So a lot of these conversations that come up with, hey buddy, like, what do you want to go do? That has been established because I went to military camp. I can be a friend when we're on the job. I'm your boss, but you can call me at 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday morning. If something's going on with you, like, I want you to call me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's something going on in your life that you need someone to talk to, like, you can come to me as well. I will do anything for those guys.
Yeah.
Anyone. But they will also do anything for me.
Yeah.
And that has built up through a lot of years, just being there for them, asking what they want to do, kind of putting them first before me. There's selfish employers out there that are, well, I give you a paycheck, so you basically do whatever I tell you to do, and I don't think I've told a guy to do anything. I ask them, can you go to this job? Can you go with this other guy to that job? And can you do this?
Mm-hmm.
I never say, go do this, go do that.
Yeah.
By giving them the mental choice.
Correct.
Of, yeah, I can do that. Not, I will do that.
Well, and that's such a simple leadership skill.
It's so simple.
Yeah,
and it's so effective.
Yeah, it gives them the choice, because if you remove the choice from people, they rebel.
They do,
and they feel disempowered. And human nature, it just doesn't work well when you take the choice from people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give them the choice, yeah,
yes, it's so simple. It's a can you?
Yeah,
not do this.
And I think everybody needs to act like their people do have a choice to work for them every single day of the week.
Yes.
If you approach it like that, which I try to do as much as I can, like, all these people are choosing to be here, and I need to earn that every day of the week.
Yes.
And if I stop earning that, they're going to stop choosing to be here.
I'm not working for me. I'm working for you guys.
Yes.
Basically. So it's like, I've kind of like turned it around. Like, I'm here to help you guys, develop you guys, turn you guys into an A team in the next 5 years. All of our young guys, I tell people all the time, I'm like, man, if you guys just stick with me for another 5 years, like, there's not a project that we're not going to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you have to sell the vision. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to navigate it as a young person too, because you're still trying to find your way in life.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you're now responsible for a lot of other people who are oftentimes 20, 30 years older than you.
Yeah.
And so it's a balance of being confident in the vision and where we're going and giving them that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then also transparency. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So if you wouldn't mind throwing me a bone and like, what would you do? Oh,
Mhm.
I would do this, that. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And like, just clarifying what problems are and just talking to the guys, hey, like what's going on the job? What do you guys want to see in the next couple of years? I was talking to my cousin the other day, and, I told him all the things that we're going to be doing and with, newer machines, and I want to do the build wit training. I think that's a fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic thing. I was
Yeah.
like, our work season's like 8-9 months. So we got 4 months to do development over
Dude,
the winter. So
it's perfect for seasonal businesses.
oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm like really looking forward to getting on board with that and training these young guys. Hey, I saw your video the other day. It was like, oh, what's a tripod and a laser and a grade rod and a receiver? It's like the kid that just got here, young guy, ambitious, always shows up on time. Like, hey, go grab the laser. Well, what's that? Hey, here's a video. Here's what you learn in the winter. I got to pay your unemployment. So I might as well just pay you to be on the payroll for, a couple more months, and we'll go through all this training.
Yeah.
So, and I was talking to him about all the stuff that we want to like do in the next, 6 months to a year. And he's like, man, I really like the way that we're headed. And I was like, really? Like, 'cause that means a lot. Getting your guys' feedback from you guys to me, like that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Dude,
cash flow is gnarly. And especially in contracting, because the thing is, you're typically working for people with more resources than you. And so if they don't pay you, like, what do? You go sue them, but then they have more money than you do. They have better lawyers than you. It's like,
yeah, it all depends on who you work for. I mean,
it all depends on who you work for.
We're not going to sue a solar company.
No, yeah, exactly.
No way. I'm we'd get demolished.
Yeah, so the solar company says, we're actually not going to pay you. I mean, not saying that this happens, but if that happens, like, you're just shit out of luck at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, well, dude, there's a few solar companies out there. There's one in particular that we're not fond of at all. Like, like no one is. And I don't know how they get contractors to work for them.
Well,
they'll work for them for like 6-8 months until they just get raked over the coals like time and time again. And it's like, now they have all these projects and no one wants to work for them because they just killed every single relationship out there. And it's like, oh, this is this is one of their projects. Nope.
I think contractors, it's contractors need to be more disciplined on what work they take on, especially right now. I feel like everybody's just taking on whatever the hell they can. But contractors have a vote on who they go to work for. You don't have to go work for a garbage GC.
Yeah, that's right.
Garbage owner.
That's right. I mean, one of my sayings is like, why in a world of general contractors do I want to work for that guy? Like, no way.
Yeah.
There's a million of you guys out there.
Yeah.
You're not just a number, but it's true. I mean, there's a lot of work out there and you can definitely pick and choose who you work for.
Yeah. I think the smart contractors, they go after the right relationships. But if you're just bidding to anybody and hoping it pans out at the end of the day, I don't know. Better hope the economy stays good.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned that lesson probably like 5 years ago when I'd say this is the job that changed my life. So I was on a solar project up in Geneva, and it was like a 5 or 6 megawatt site. And then we got wind of this huge project, this huge GC coming into town. Like, it's a 28 meg. We went from like a 30-acre site to 180, 200 acres. And I went down there and we're just doing the trenching at the time. And for all the solar panels, and we started working, and the GC that was there that we don't work for ever again, I'll never work for him again. They said, hey, do you guys want to take over the civil? Because they rented equipment, pulled guys from like a temp agency, labor agency. And these guys were coming in, everyone's an operator. If you can drive a lawnmower, man, you're an operator. Like, basically is like what these guys were coming in. They just got sick of pulling from that group. So they basically said, we're sick of it. We're done renting. We'll pay you guys by the hour to finish, T&M. We want you guys to finish this huge project. So I went from managing me, one other guy, and maybe 2 others on the small job to now managing like 8. And I was 21. 21.
Nice.
And like putting out all these fires all over this hillside. I mean, this is a massive solar site, very big, lots going on. And, I went through a bunch of stuff personally that helped me become who I am today because of, that job. And I was away from home and managing from 2 guys to 8 guys, and the stress level that a 21-year-old trying to make his mark, the boss's son trying to make his mark on the company and trying to grow this to what it is right now.
Big chip on your shoulder.
It was huge. And there was a lot of pressure for me, and, just putting out all these fires and the stress level and the phone calls, man, I would get like 80 phone calls a day. We're building a solar field in the winter on a huge hill, and we were just pulling tractor trailers up this hill with a D5K.
Nice.
Like one right after another, delivering steel, panels, nuts and bolts, everything you could get, spools of wire, conduit. Man, I was just like, the T&M, just sit down below, and your job is to pull tractor trailers up the hill.
Nice.
But after a while, they owed us like a ton of money. It was like, I don't know, like $250,000. And our office manager calls me and goes, I know you're focused on the work, but they haven't paid. And I was like, all right, boys, go pull all the guys out of the equipment, send them home, and we're taking all of our equipment right down to the bottom of the hill. And we are proving that we are going to walk off this job site because you guys haven't paid us a dime. But that went too long. So, and that's, being like a business owner isn't just sitting in a dozer making phone calls and like being on the job site with the guys. And that's what I do. That's a lot of what I do.
Yeah.
I do some small estimating, stuff like that. We have a project manager, estimator, and I hired another one of my cousins, Adam. He's been killing it doing, managing projects from the site, ordering materials, scheduling, equipment and bidding. So he's like an all-in-one kind of guy, but he went to college for it, for project management. So he's been doing really well. But I think like one of the biggest things that like I could improve on myself is sitting down and like learning true estimating, true project management. I mean, I have no one to train me. I can learn from our estimator in the office, but that's something that I could improve on a lot. I've basically like pushed myself to be the best operator, the best dozer operator, the best excavator or a haul truck or a skid steer. Like I can be as skilled as I can ever be in those things, and I can run them very well. But like, there's also the business side of things that like I could definitely improve on in the office and like truly running a business. And I think that change is coming very soon, this winter. And, my grandfather always said, like, you need to be in the trenches with the guys to earn their respect. You need to be in the trenches with the guys, working right beside them. And, I've been told that since before high school, when I was in high school.
Well, it goes back to the dichotomy, because if you're in the trench the whole time, you can't run the business.
Can't run the business.
Running a business is a different skill set than building a job. Everybody tries to treat it as the same thing. But if you just build jobs, you can't run a business. If you just run business, you can't necessarily build jobs. You need both. And if you're trying to do both, you better either be balanced at it or hire somebody else to focus on the operations while you can focus on the business. But that's where I learned from, the leadership stuff I've done over the past few years is Dan calls it. Dan, former Marine, president of our company. We learned it from Echelon Front. They say you're on your gun. You're locked on to whatever's in front of you, because they're military guys.
Right.
You're on your gun. You can't think from a strategic standpoint. And this is what I just saw with Chad in the Alpine course, is our LPO, who was kind of the boss of the mission. He got sucked into the details twice. And Chad was like, hey, one more time, you're fired. Because that's not what you do. That's not your job. Your job is not to get sucked into the details. Your job is to maintain that overall battlefield perspective. And if you're in on that map, you're in on the details, you're not doing your job.
Right.
You need to do your damn job. And so that's where I've had to prioritize. It's it's a struggle because doing stuff that you're good at, like running a machine, it makes you feel good. Oh, I'm producing.
I'm getting something done.
I'm getting something done. I'm good at this. But then you're doing the business a disservice. Like next week, I go to Savannah, Georgia for 5 days to think. I have a list of stuff that I'm going to just think through. I have no meetings. I have no calls. I have no deliverables to come out of it. I just have stuff I've been putting on a shelf that I, as a business owner, as the guy that sees the overall battlefield perspective, needs to think through to then inform the business. But I just haven't had the time because I've been doing this. I've been flying. I've been traveling, running around, doing whatever I need to do. But I've had to schedule in time to just sit down and think. But you feel guilty at first.
Yes.
Because
I feel like I'm not getting anything done.
You're not getting anything done.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not producing anything.
Yeah. And you're seeing everybody else busting their ass and you're sitting there on, a Tuesday at 2 p.m. reading a book and thinking about it. And you're like, what am I doing? This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. But the irony is that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing if you want to get to that next level. Because as a contractor, it's fine working in the business. Like if you want to be an operator, if you want to run a dozer, then that's great. I mean, it's just, it comes with, there's a clear ceiling there. And if you exceed that ceiling, you're going to get bit.
Yes.
I've seen it happen so many times.
Yeah.
If you want to go past that ceiling, which a lot of people don't, which is, I admire greatly, and they make probably a lot more money than the people that do exceed that ceiling for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you do want to exceed that ceiling, that's when you have to get outside of the fray.
Right. Yeah. I feel like we're right at that threshold too. What we can become and what we've always done. We've invested in machines and GPS, and this winter it's going to be the training and developing of our guys when we have the time. So, I feel like the guys aren't going to see me as much on these jobs anymore, and to a certain extent, like they haven't, because we've from even 3 years ago to now, we're definitely not the same company. I mean, we're just a family-owned company. Like my father and I run it.
Yeah.
We have our managers, we have our foremen, we have guys that operate a lot, we have guys that labor, it's a whole umbrella of people, mechanics and delivery guys and low bed drivers. And, I told them a couple months ago, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I haven't been out here. Like there's so many other projects. Like I would go work on with another crew for 2 or 3 weeks, and then be on that one, and then on this one, and then on that. And it's like I would jump around, and the next thing you know, like my guys haven't seen me in like 2 months.
Well, but this is the other side of it is, and this is, again, this comes back to Jocko articulating it so well. He would say if they're going and clearing buildings, for example, he is the commander of the operation. He'll be out there, and all he'll have to say is just execute on the radio. And his guys go execute. Occasionally there'd be a firefight where he gets pulled in on something. And so now all of a sudden he's, clearing rooms with his guys. But ideally speaking, his guys would see that he's clearing rooms, go tap him on the shoulder. Hey, you get the hell out of here because this is our job, not yours. Get out so you can maintain that overall awareness.
Right.
And that's where you want to get to is you want to be there and be willing to jump in on the shittiest jobs, especially.
Yes.
Every once in a while. To show people, yeah, I can still do this. I'm still grounded. I'm still here to, get in this fight with you guys every day of the week. But at the same time, they shouldn't want you there all the time because they know that you're better off elsewhere supporting them in the business.
Right.
Like they're better off having you over there because you can grow the business. You can get them more opportunity. You can create the future that you've sold to them by doing that. If you're there with them every day, you're not creating the future you need. It's just about connecting those dots, making everybody understand that. And then it gets to a point where it's like, hey, we're good here. Like you go do your thing. We've got it covered, man.
We know how to do this. We got it.
Yeah. And that's the next, evolution of leadership. I was just talking to my brother about this last night. He said, do you stress when you're away from the business? Cause I was in Utah, I had no cell service for 3 days and I was not stressed at all. I didn't think about the business for 3 days because I couldn't afford to. Yeah, I had to be wholly present on what was right in front of me to succeed. If I wasn't present, if I was thinking about the business, I would have failed. And I told him no. And that's kind of the next evolution of leadership is you don't if you're still needed every day,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't done your job.
Right. And well, that makes me feel good when you can say, hey, I can step away. People can still continue to produce and work and without calling me. Like I haven't gotten a phone call at all today. Well,
Yeah, but
phone's on airplane mode.
But you go.
I haven't.
Well, you go back to human nature though. It's scary at first because you want to be needed, and you start to question, like, shoot, so they don't need me. Like, so what the hell do I do? What value do I create? Oh my God, like, man, I do suck. You start to, you can go down that you can start to spiral a little bit, but you have to pull yourself back. Like, no, I'm actually doing my job as a leader.
Right.
I'm actually developing these people so that they can execute without me, which
And
is a great feeling.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want these guys to need me every single day.
No.
I want to choose to be like, hey, I'm gonna go out of town. I'm gonna pack my bag. I'm gonna wake up at 2:30 in the morning on a Monday morning. I'm gonna drive 3.5 hours to the job site with you guys. I'm gonna stay in the hotels with you. I'm gonna be right there with you guys. I tell my guys, all the time. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah.
I'll never do that. If it's 10 degrees outside and it's snowing and blowing and we got to get formed and rebarred for a transformer pad that needs to get that needs to be complete in 5 days, it's like, I'm gonna be right there with you.
Yeah, well, you have to do it every once in a while, but I think people misunderstand that.
Yeah,
that saying they think they need to go do everything. It's like, no, you have to sprinkle it in there to prove that.
Yeah, I can still do this, guys.
I can still do it.
I know what I'm talking about.
I'm still here. Or the shittiest jobs that no one wants to do, you're there with a smile on your face, like, this is awesome. We are getting it today. But you don't have to do that very much to maintain that understanding and belief.
And I feel like I need to understand that a little more.
Yeah.
With the position that I'm in, because I always want to be there on site. I'm like, I want to be there all the time. But I know, and I feel like the transition for me, like right now, is with no training, doing the estimating and the actual business, side of things. So my father, I mean, he can walk down in the office and he can say, hey, is there money in the bank account? Yes, sir, there is. And he's like, good enough for me.
Yeah, we have no problems.
We have no problems right now.
Yeah.
So maybe in the winter we're gonna get a little close. We'll put some money on our lines of credits, and then hopefully in the spring we're picked right back up, and we're gonna finish what we started last fall. And that's he does a lot more than just that. But that's like an example of like how simple we are as a family, but there's a lot more, like getting to that next level of finding your cost, knowing your profits.
Correct. Yeah. It's, I mean, you guys have been doing it for 50 years, so it works, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years, that's a long damn time in business. But yeah, to go to that next level, it just requires different systems, different understanding, and there's different skills.
And there's no one to say, this is how you do it. That is the hardest thing, because I can say, well, I can go run a dozer really well. I can go do that and I can feel good about myself. But then I'm sitting in the office and I'm like staring at my computer. I'm just like, how do we get there? How do we get there? How do we get there? And there's no book on it. And that to me is the hardest thing.
Yeah. Well,
how to scale, how to, find your costs in a job, and like what systems to invest in to find all that information out. It's like, there's no book on it.
We're trying to create more of that. I mean, it's like our leaders stuff on the platform. Well, we have Randy Blunt talking a lot about this stuff. You can learn a lot from Randy's side of things on training.
Yeah.
Because he does address a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the problem. And this is what's frustrating about construction, is everybody's out for themselves. So if you go ask somebody, well, how do I estimate stuff? They're like, whoa. So you're going to be bidding. You're going to be bidding against me. This is crazy. But you can probably find some more forward-thinking people.
Yeah. So
like, you ought to talk to the Dietz boys. Do you know them?
No, I don't.
Brian Dietz, Bob Dietz, the company. They're down by Newburgh.
No, I don't even know if I've ever heard of them.
Maybe they could help you out.
Okay.
You'd like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to go see them sometime.
They're really good guys.
I'll buy them lunch or something.
Yeah.
So another cool thing about being young is that, I probably 2 or 3 months ago, one of our clients said, hey, can you guys come do like a field visit to a solar site, give us your input, X, Y, and Z. Let us know if these are projects, because the GC that we're working for is bidding against 20 other people
Mm-hmm.
to get this portfolio of solar projects. So I was going down there, visiting with them, and one of our competitors was on site too. And I just started asking him questions. I was 27 when I saw him. I was 27 years old. He's 50 probably. And the information that some of these older guys can give a young guy is going to be more than if I was 55 years old. And I'm like, hey, like me talking to you when we're 50 and I'm another media company, you're going to be like, I don't really want to share that information. But like an older guy wants to pass down some information to a young guy because he's looking at me and saying, well, he's 28. Like he's not really competition.
Yeah, you're not a threat.
I'm not a threat. So they'll give up a little bit more information just because of the age difference. And
all the time. I'm very rarely told, we can't tell you that. I hear that very rarely. And I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
What are your labor rates? What's the bid on this? How much you making?
Yeah, that was one of the things I asked that guy.
Dude, I just go down the list and like, just tell me everything because I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not going to go tell anybody. I'm just curious. But they're just like, yeah, here you go. People are proud in this industry. They want to talk about what they do. But then at the same time, it's so competitive.
So,
everybody's so secretive and well, I can't tell you how many skid steers I have. That's crazy because then my competitor will know. But how many skid steers does your competitor have? Well, they have 13. Okay, so they probably know how many skid steers you have if you know how many skid steers they like. It's Come on.
Yeah.
But yes, I think age. Being young. If you want it to be a disadvantage, it can be a disadvantage.
It can, yeah.
If you want it to be an advantage, it can be a hell of an advantage.
Yeah.
It's just however you want to use it.
That's right. I mean, you can sit on your phone, you can go home and watch TV on the weekends, and you can just get buried in, thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
Or you can just show up to work every single day and love what you do. And it's like, I tell the guys, I'm like, dude, if you guys don't like working construction, like, I want you guys to go do something that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm here to help you guys out. I don't want some guy that works for us that doesn't like what he's doing. I want everyone to love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if they have passion for it, they're going to be way better than the other guy that doesn't care to even be here.
Sure.
I mean, I just went through that a couple, probably like last year. I mean, there's one kid that just like didn't care to be here, is only here for a paycheck. He would just slack off. He could be a hard worker if he really liked what he does. But then I can bring in this younger guy, and this younger guy will outwork him because he loves to do what he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, these are the questions that everybody's struggling with right now, and I don't have the answers.
It's a constant battle.
Yeah. But it'll be fun to watch where you guys go over the next few years.
It's going to be pretty fun. I know the last probably 5 years has been really well for us. We've exploded way more than we ever thought we could ever. Back in 2012, it was like, I was telling these guys, we did a job and we're still getting paid for it. And it was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. We're just getting a check in a couple of weeks for another building lot the guy sold.
Like an annuity. Isn't that something?
Oh, man.
It'll be exciting to get you guys on training too. It's really not bullshit. Like, I told our company the other day, it's like, guys, I'd be worried right now if our product was bullshit and we were selling to a competitive market and it wasn't really what the industry needs.
Mm-hmm.
But this is exactly what the industry needs. And it's not a bullshit product. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, whoa,
this is really nice.
This is really nice. Like, I can't believe we did this. And then I go through the content, I'm like, well, this is very compelling. Because I've been a laborer. I've been a pipe layer starting out. I didn't know shit. I didn't know what a valve was. I didn't know what a megalug was. I didn't know what a laser was.
Right.
I didn't know, how to grease a machine. I knew nothing. And to have all of that, like you said,
right there.
It's not written, nothing's written down. Well, it's like, we're actually writing stuff down. I mean, we have almost 1,000 training videos now.
That is unreal.
That we've created from nothing just this year. Training wasn't on our radar this time last year. And it is, to me, really exciting because it's like, whoa, this is exactly what I needed when I was a kid. Starting out, I'm still a kid. But when I was starting out, and it would have helped me do such a better job.
Yes.
And then it'll help people like you with people like hearing from Randy Blunt, here's what you need to be thinking about when you're bidding jobs, for example. And here, hey, we used to do wet utilities. This is why we stopped. They do it again now because they were acquired, but this was the logic. This is why we stopped doing good work that we've been doing for years, because it wasn't profitable and we had our, certain resources and we were better off here. It's stuff like that. That's just not taught, but we are teaching it now for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to upset some people, but that's okay.
It's okay. You don't go through life without pissing a few people off. You're doing it wrong.
I'd like to wrestle Jimmy's. I said something dumb on my stories this morning, kind of just intentionally ruffling feathers. And Eric messages me, Eric Jumper. He's like, wow, starting the week off strong, huh? I'm like, yeah. But
sorry, buddy.
It's just, I was telling you out there, I'm starting to get more and more frustrated. It's okay, great. You guys have been in the industry for 50 years. You've got it here. Thank you. I appreciate everything you've done, but please get the hell out of the way, because now you are making it worse by just continuing the status quo.
Yes.
The world is running past us, and we have this burning dumpster fire to deal with. And it's like, I see the dumpster on fire over there, but you won't let me get the damn hose to it. Like, you keep turning, I turn the water on and you walk over and turn it off. I'm like, stop. Just let me go take care of this. You go away. You've made your money, and let's go do it more effectively. Let's take care of people. Let's train people.
Yeah.
Let's go find the next generation, because all of that's possible. But until people, the establishment, quote unquote, gets out of the way, it's, dude. But that's the opportunity for you.
Right. I mean, with such a young crew that we have.
Yeah. You want to grow? If you can figure out the young person thing.
Dude, it's all young guys. All young guys.
Yeah, but if you can figure out how to scale that, you can grow however you want to grow.
Yeah. So, I mean, how we get a lot of young guys is, hey, you're a good, young, hardworking guy. Where's your friend? You got a buddy? You say, yeah, I got two guys that would work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to them. And then the guy that works for me now, he's not going to put his name on the line for one of his, lazy friends. He's going to be like, I don't want to have that reputation. I don't want to be associated with that guy. Like, I want my other good guys, my good friends, to come work here.
Yeah.
And they'll do some of the recruiting for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, hey, like, we should talk to this guy. I'm like, okay.
Well, and they'll come to work for you because you're a young guy. I think that's one of the big problems too, is this older generation is approaching hiring from their perspective, from what they wanted to see 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, but that doesn't work anymore. That's what you wanted to see, and that's worked great. But again, they don't want to work for you. They want to work for people like them that relate to them, that speak their language.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my dad has hired some young guys. They've been great. But I mean, I'm
generalizing here.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. I've definitely hired a lot of kids. So, and it's working out great. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, they need development and they need training, and, it'd be nice to have a guy that had a young guy's mentality and could run, the GPS and the surveying gear and, new ways of doing things. But then, also he's going to be like 55 years old. I mean, that's like a unicorn.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to find that. So if you can just develop these young kids now, bring them in and teach them, and hopefully they stay, and just treat them well, treat them like family, basically. I mean, we're father, son, family business, and we're on a first name basis with every single person. And we would do anything for any of our guys. We would do anything for any of our employees. I mean, that's just, that's one of our like core values is, my grandfather was always like, I want to spend time with my family, and I'm going to treat my guys as best as I can. And that value is still going strong, very strong to this day.
And I think that's a key differentiator for our industry versus corporate America. So you can come work for a family company and you're going to know who the hell I am. I'm going to shake your hand. We're going to care for you every year. Or you can go work for Amazon and be employee 774-89 and work for a different manager every 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, yeah, you're going to be working in AC, but beyond that, I don't know. It's just, it's a lot more human. I don't know. Well, I'm excited to see where you guys go. Are you guys you're on social media?
Yeah. Yeah. I do have, it's Rasmussen Excavation on Instagram.
Cool.
So
follow along.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be great.
Check.
I think Eric Jumper follows us as well.
That's a shame.
He doesn't really live that far from us. I think he only lives like 3-4 hours from me.
I feel like he was just up in your area the other day. This weekend.
Yeah, I think he
went to go see Paul Barber.
I don't know who that is.
I feel like he's up by Scranton, but he's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you go north of Scranton, you run into New York at some point.
Yeah, you go up 81.
I think that's the area
Scranton
he's
there.
in.
Yeah.
He was in New York this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I drove right past him.
Probably.
Gotta watch out for that guy.
Stealing golf balls and milk crates.
I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah. I can't believe, does he start filling up? Is he filling up those milk crates with the golf balls yet?
Probably.
He's probably got like 20 of those milk crates full.
He's probably got a whole garage full. Yeah. Yeah, and then hauling them. Yeah. Yeah, Billy Big Rigger. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. And I have to go to Dallas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that why we moved the podcast half hour early?
Yeah. My flight's at 11:30.
There you go. Killing it.
Well, thanks for stopping by. That's podcast.